Welcome back to the channel, folks. Thanks for stopping by. Luna here with another King Arthur Legends Rise video. So today I wanted to talk about Nest of YSK and why I think that's important to do that first versus trying to jump right into Origin of Apalia. And then we'll get into a free-to-play friendly team to take out level 10 easily here. But first, if you look at what you get for rewards, right, we're just getting attack, critical, and speed. However, those can be very beneficial, especially in the early game, because you're not going to have the vigor sets, you're not going to have some of the stuff that you'll need for later on. And by taking on this dungeon first, you can start getting some pretty decent gear to then allow you to be better equipped to take on the harder dungeons. So I still use attack sets on a lot of my champions. I'm actually using a speed set as well, especially for, like, say, Tristan or Vala, the latest new champion that was just added, mainly for like Hall of Conquerors. So these sets are also valid for the end game as well, but also building up to, okay, let me start off with the lower levels, get that attack gear, you know, starting off the 3, the 4-star, etc. And then when you take on the higher levels, getting the better equipment, and then you're able to equip that to your champions and then take those champions and fight them in the other dungeons to kind of progress there further. So I think it's really key to get your hands on some speed and some attack gear, and critical can be very useful as well, to then be able to go in and take on other dungeons, like I said. So looking at YSK here, right, this minute 47 seconds, that is not the team I'm using here. Here I'm just using Morgan, Kay, Baldwin, and Sarah. And looking at their skill order here, I'm just solely using the A2 for Morgan. Doesn't really take speed down on YSK himself, but it does help out in the first round. Solely using the A2 for Kay, because that's where the most damage is on her Frost Relic. I'm sorry, not her Frost, using her Flame Relic here. I thought about using her Frost, but then I'd have to use her A3 to get that skill for the damage, so I didn't want to do that. Going over to Baldwin here, going between his A3 and his A2, making sure I'm getting that sheer damage up. Also, looking at getting that attack crease down. So this A2 here, take a look. 7% chance of inflicting an attack decrease 2 for 3 turns, which can be huge, especially if you're using these types of champions. And then looking at Sarah here, mainly going using her A1, and then kind of jumping back to that A2 for some heals there. And the A1 is what's needed to be able to put that buff disruption on YSK. So again, this is not going to be a speed run. This is not going to be that minute 47 seconds like we saw earlier. That's from our main team. I do need to go in and try out using Vala's buff explosion on the YSK to see how that does. If any of y'all have used her in this dungeon, please let me know. I need to take time to sit down and look at doing that. And you see, we do have the buff disruption on this one dragon on the first round here. There is a 1-turn cooldown on that. So hopefully we should be able to take out these other 2 dragons before she comes back and uses that, because we don't want that to not land when we get to YSK on the second round here. And that buff disruption is key, right? If you do not get that buff disruption on, you'll be missing a lot. You're not going to be doing as much damage. Awesome, she landed it. And so to be able to land that, Sarah does need to have enough effect accuracy. So at first, when I was trying this team out, I wasn't getting that buff disruption on there, so I had to go in and make a few changes. And I'll go over the gear sets when we're done here, just to be able to give Sarah some more accuracy. And like you saw earlier before we jumped into this battle, yes, I do have pretty good gear on these champions, nothing crazy, which you'll see in a minute. But also the relics are not fully maxed out, they're not fully awakened. So I mean, there's a lot of attack and HP and defense that are left off the table by not having those relics fully maxed and also fully awakened. But again, you know, obviously you're not going to have all that stuff fully awakened when you start out anyway. But this just goes to show you that you can get through this dungeon without having to worry about having, you know, all legendary champions, everyone 300 plus speed, right? It's not required for this content at least. So still making pretty good work of YSK here. And I've run this through at least 5 or 6 times now, and no one has come close to dying. I've been able to land that buff disruption pretty consistently. But again, you just got to make sure you have that buff disruption available on Sarah whenever you do face off with YSK, so you don't have to kind of start over. I don't know, it probably still will work if it doesn't land right away, just to kind of depending on the gear that you have. So you may have to go in and maybe retry it if, you know, you're not landing that buff disruption right away. And see here, even at running a lot of this at level 10, we're still not getting the greatest of gear. This stuff is probably most likely going to just be dismantled. Oh, my attack speed there, so I will keep that. Attack percentage there with attack speed substat, so that's not too bad. We would prefer a 6-star, but it's not too bad. So we'll go on and look at the equipment that we have in these champions, just to show you that I'm not working with outlandish gear here, just to try to make it seem like it's free to play friendly, when it's actually not. Just trying to be fully transparent here. So Morgan is in a pretty good set. I have her in a vigor and a defense set. Again, I just what I had for effect accuracy on her necklace there. So that's why I went with defense versus say attack or something else. Not attack, but like say critical or life or something else. I do have effect accuracy on the belt as well, because it is needed, and attack speed as well, just to try to make her as fast as I can. Now, I have her in Strife just mainly because he's also used in my arena teams. Obviously, Strife is not going to necessarily help you out here with this dungeon. I mean, it could in the first round, but not really going to do much for you. But we'll take a look at her total stats here, and you see that attack is just over 4,000, attack speeds 289. I would love to have it 300 plus. I just don't have the gear on my account to do that, or the changing powder to be able to go in and try to get that double or triple roll on the actual speed. Okay, so let's jump over here and look at what we have for Kay. I do have her an attack set and just a safeguard, because again, that's what I had. Attack percentage on the necklace. It's not required to have safeguard, but I mean, it's just what I have. And I mean, it doesn't hurt to have it because you do get a little bit of shield starting out, but I think Sarah's doing enough heals that it's not really needed. And I just have her in this normal set, just mainly get the attack speed, and if she were to drop below HP, below that 20%, then she would get some recovery there as well. But again, just don't have the best gear when it comes to all of these. So, but it's not really needed. Taking a look at her total stats, you see that's 247 speed. I'd like to have her again much faster. Attack 3591, so you have less attack than Morgan, even though I'm using her as my main damage dealer. But doing those multiple hits definitely helps. So over here looking at Sarah, almost 32,000 HP, nothing crazy. I think I have my Nika like over 60,000 HP, so nothing crazy there. I do have her in a vigor set and an accuracy set. Like I said, I needed to have the extra accuracy, and having an HP percentage and the accuracy, this definitely helped. Not there. Then also I did have to rob this belt off of someone else to be able to make this run happen, just to give her more accuracy. But again, let's take a look at her total stats here. Almost 30,000 HP, but her attack speed is 168. She's actually really slow. But again, just kind of work with what I have, trying to use the gear that I have without trying to rob too much from other players. Again, it's just to make this team more accessible. And last but not least, Baldwin. He's definitely key as well, him and Sarah. For like say K, you could use Arthur as an example. He's a pretty good damage dealer too as a rare. But looking at him, I also have him in a vigor and a life set, just because he does provide a little bit of shield based off of his HP. So attack speed on the ring. Again, I just have random pieces on them here just to try to get some more stats, not necessarily because it's needed. But please, if you're using some other unique teams or some off-meta teams to kind of take down some of these bosses in these dungeons, please let me know in the comments below. I will be putting out a video soon on actually going into Origin of Empalia, but also using a free-to-play friendly team, which is also consists of mainly rares as well, to get through that dungeon, just to show you that you can get through without a problem. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for stopping by.